The cool kids are going
Jesus heals a deaf man. Mark chapter 7, verses 31 to 37. While Jesus was walking from place to place with his friends, huge crowds of people started following him. All these people made a lot of noise. People followed Jesus because they wanted to learn more about him, and they wanted to see him do miracles. So, wherever Jesus went, people and noise went too. One day, some people brought Jesus a man who needed help. This man was deaf, which means he couldn't hear. He couldn't hear the crowds or music or even Jesus' voice. He couldn't hear anything at all. And being deaf, he also couldn't talk. The people who brought this deaf man to Jesus begged him to heal their friend. Jesus wanted to help the man, so he took the man away from the crowds. Then what Jesus did was he put his finger in both of the man's ears. He then spit, and then he touched the man's tongue. Jesus looked up to heaven and said, "Be opened." And right away, the man started talking, and his ears were open. He could hear the people walking and talking in the crowds. He could hear Jesus. He could hear everything. So Jesus helped the man to hear and to talk, and everyone who saw and heard what Jesus did was amazed.
Okay, Vintage Kids, let's do a quick recap of the Bible story we just went over. I hope you were listening. So, what exactly was wrong with the man in the story? Yeah, that's an easy one. The man was deaf and he couldn't talk. Because the man was deaf and he couldn't speak, it puts him in danger because people use their hearing to avoid bad things. Keeping in mind, though, that things were different during this time period in the Bible, deaf people were often isolated from society. Now, who remembers what Jesus did when he saw the man? You probably remember the strange bits of Jesus sticking his fingers in his ear and spitting. But yes, Jesus helped the deaf man hear and talk when he shouted to the heavens, "Be open." Be open reminds us that we can't open ourselves. Because of sin, we need Jesus to open us. And Jesus opens us because he died on the cross for our sins. We aren't able to open ourselves, but by the grace of God, he has opened us and forgiven us from sin. Jesus gives us freedom. Just like the man in today's Bible story, Jesus will help you too. It might not always be the way, though, that you want him to, but we need to trust in him. After all, he knows what's best for us and he will help us. See you next week. Bye!